Could you talk about courage?
Excuse me?
Being courageous, being brave.
Being courageous? Uh, I mean, what is courage? You have to overcome yourself, your fear, your insecurity, and you have to need something deep enough that you're willing to take a chance in your life to attain it. And tapping that need, and if that's a real need and a hunger inside you to attain that, you will have the courage to do it. And the only person that you have to overcome, it's not the external world, it's that insecurity inside yourself. That part of each human being that is afraid, it's afraid to take that step, afraid to take a chance, afraid to move on in their life, afraid to open to a more creative way of living. I mean, all of that takes courage to do. And that courage won't be there if you allow that insecurity to grow. And again, look, I probably every class I talk about it, getting grounded in the chakra below the navel gives you the power to have courage, gives you the power not to be afraid to make a choice, not to be afraid to do in your life. It gives you the power to tap more creative energy. That helps you overcome insecurity and fear. I mean, I had an abundance of it when I was younger, insecurity and fear, and I always knew that I had to find a way to get past me. And I found a way when I learned how to develop the chi, the power, the source of energy in myself that enabled me to reach past myself and my insecurities and take chances with life. There's nothing wrong with taking chances with life, because in those chances is usually a whole new way of living and a whole new way of opening inside and receiving, through this meditation practice we do, a connection with higher energy in the universe. So, look, I say it all the time. There's only one person in life we're up against. Although we think we're up against the whole world, we're not. We're just up against ourselves. Developing within ourselves the capacity to free ourselves of insecurity, fear, you know, guilt, and how many other elements that keep people living in their own self-imposed prison. And courage is very important. I mean, to have a spiritual life, you have to have courage. You literally are taking upon yourself something that 99.9% of the world, you know, has no idea what it's about. And then you tell people about it. Oh, yeah, I love that. That's great. Oh, my God, I'd like to live. And do they have the courage to do it, to make a choice, to surrender in such depth that there's a whole renewal of our inner life, a resurrection of us? Takes guts, courage. But it's not something I'm going to have guts now. It's something you have to build inside yourself. Slowly but surely, you develop that kind of power and strength inside yourself to not be intimidated by life. And this is not something that, look, this is almost everybody has this problem. And most people that, project this kind of courage, it's really kind of a craziness about themselves. But it doesn't come from a place that is deep and surrendered and quiet inside and connected to a spiritual force. So the question is very good, and it's something that I think every human being has to deal with every day of their life. And the answer is you got to get free of yourself. Well, that's amazing. I mean, you think we are the ones that keep us locked in a prison. We have to get free of us. And that's not an easy thing to do because we're the only person we live with 24 hours a day. And we have to deal with us all the time. And the habits and the conditioning and, the kind of stuff we're taught when we're kids that kind of locks us in a prison. We begin to believe things that people tell us that create kind of prison around it. They become habit. So the key to developing courage is building a system that can get free of yourself, your own insecurity, your own fear of the unknown. And that becomes a wonderful way to live. When you live that way, the past is gone. We don't have to relive the past and be guilty or afraid of the things that happened to us. The future doesn't exist. So we have what? We have the now, us living in the present. And when a person develops that capacity, their choices become clear. They're not sitting around worrying about what the future is going to bring. Every one of us, I mean, there's nobody here that's an infant. We all are the future. And this is what it's brought. And the future is really today becoming tomorrow. How well we do today determines how we're going to live tomorrow. I remember years ago when I was young, in my early 20s, I used to study acting in New York. And one of the major things I learned is the key to success in that profession was learning how to be in the present, learning how to be there, a living character on that stage. And life is the same thing. We have to learn how to live in the present. That will give us the guts to succeed in many, many things in life. I mean it, because to do that, once again, you got to get free of one person and yourself. And it does take, honestly, it takes courage to step into the unknown. Do not be afraid of what the unknown will bring. Because everything in this, in quotes, future that we have is unknown. We don't know what's going to happen in 10 minutes, 20 minutes. So to make conscious use of the present means you have no problem, stepping into the unknown. And the absurdity of the whole thing is the future becomes the present. It's no longer the future, it's the present. I hope it's clear what I'm talking about, because all of this is essential if one truly wants to open to a higher force of energy in the universe and allow themselves to be guided by God instead of their ego, their, self, the image they have of themselves and who they think they are and who they're not. And liking ourselves, loving ourselves, having self-worth, and how strong you have to be inside just to be able to live with your self-worth. Not an image you have of yourself, but a worth that comes from a really deep place inside, a connection with spirit. Does anyone else have a question you would like to ask? I told you, questions are great. They bring up things I never even thought I would talk about. Some of it I repeat, but then it has to be repeated.
I have a
Anybody?
question,
Yeah.
Stuart. Yes. It's
Yes.
about it's a question I think I asked maybe in the past already, but it's about a double breath again. The double breath, its function is to create energy in one system, is it not? And how many times do you do it during the meditation?
Um, one second, Paul.
Yes.
Uh, well, the answer to the question is you do it when you need to do it. So you can do it. I mean, sometimes I'll sit here and do a meditation for 45 minutes and do one double breath. And it opens the entire chakra system. It will do a better job than me breathing like that all the time. So sometimes it's one breath. Sometimes you have to do 8, 10 times because the mind gets in the way, the emotions, the thinking, the daydreaming, all the stuff, the chaos in a person begins to take. So you have to recenter yourself. You have to breathe into the heart, breathe below the navel, in order to build that openness inside that allows you to get free of all that chaos. So it's not, there's no one answer to this. You have to really tune into yourself and do that double breathing when you need it. Now, the double breathing is twofold. There are two instruments we use, the mind, which is perhaps the strongest instrument we have. And the mind becomes like a surgical instrument. When you bring it into the chakra below the navel, it will literally almost form like a psychic surgery inside you that will open that chakra. The mind is that powerful when it's focused that way. If you don't focus, it just becomes a lot of noise in the head. And I'm sure everybody has experienced that noise in the head, which never shuts up until you learn how to use it this way. It will open the chakra below the navel. You understand? Breath will not open the chakras. You can breathe like a steam, a freight train, and it's not going to open. Using the mind properly will open that chakra below the navel. Gratitude will open the heart. Just that simple feeling of gratitude for one's life, for the things in one's life, the family we have, the jobs we have, the way we live, having gratitude for life will open the heart. Then you take a breath through the nostrils into the center of your chest. You're taking in all of life when you take that breath. and you're bringing it into the chakra right at the center of the heart. And the breath, it's prana, it's energy, it's life, and it will open and strengthen the heart center. And then you swallow a little saliva to relax the throat chakra. And the energy, all of that stuff that's in the head, it begins to flow down into the hara, into the chakra below the navel. And so these are the tools we use. And the meditation is about using those tools consciously. So the amount of time it could be 10 seconds, it could be 8 seconds, could be 12 seconds. It's just what's comfortable for you to do. And then you exhale a little bit of the air. And that was always a puzzle to me when I was younger, until I began to realize when you stop that exhalation, the energy moves through the sexual area to the base of the spine and will begin to activate the Kundalini. And I never understood why, but that's basically what happens. And, then you take the same breath again and you bring the air down to the chakra below the navel. The mind is there, the breath is there. You're asking for help to open, to surrender, to grow spiritually. You're building the core of your being. And that core makes it possible to sustain openness in the heart chakra, quiet mind, the quiet throat, to channel energy through the sexual area. And by channeling energy through the sexual area, we activate the Kundalini. So all of these things, it's like an orchestra. They all work together. And we are the conductor. We have to master all of this stuff in order for us to build the kind of system that can get permanently connected to creative energy in the universe. All of it takes place inside us. It doesn't take place out there. It takes place inside us. And once we slowly begin to master this, the whole way we live changes. The whole way we tap creative energy changes. The whole things that flow through us begin to change. The amount of love we have for the people in our life grows. The amount of service we're willing to do for humanity grows. And by that, I don't mean, picketing and all this stuff. I mean, just the love, the compassion, the willingness to work with people who are willing to work on themselves, making time to do that. So, all of this is essential, and the breathing technique is the key to it. Breath is life. Try not to breathe for 5 minutes. See what happens. It's life. You inhale, you take in life. You exhale, you let go of a part of yourself. Breath is prayer. You have 8 billion people praying 24 hours a day and not realizing that their breathing is what sustains life. It's prayer. Learning how to use the breath consciously is what meditation practice is about. I hope that's clear, because I don't know how to get it clearer. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? And what is this all about? Why do we come here? What's the purpose of, living in the midst of all this stuff that we have to and I think the ultimate purpose is just the transformation of chaos, internal and external chaos, into joy and love, learning how to be happy people. I think once we master that, we truly have learned what we were born on the earth for. We're finished. And of course, there are other realms of consciousness the soul has to go to, but at least this crazy suffering and difficulty and tension of living in this world that we live in, we've mastered it. We can move on. Does anyone else have a question I would like to ask? And it's all a wonderful mystery. It's what makes life so interesting. We don't understand anything. And it makes it infinitely more interesting that we live in this mystery called God's creation. This wonderment of life. And just to fit it, the first thing we have to get rid of is stop trying to understand what you can't understand. You have to stop doing it, trying to figure it out. I mean, look, they've been trying now for 1,000,000 years and nobody's gotten it yet. Just surrender and become a living example of that energy flowing through you, that mystery flowing through you, that creation of God flowing through you, guiding your life. Does anyone else have a question? God is love. Finish up. I'm just saying that. I mean, it's written on every church, mosque, synagogue. God is love. That's, I think we're all born here to learn that God is love. Okay, if there are no more questions, thank you. God bless you all for being here, being part of my life. I'm sure you're tired of hearing it, but I have nothing but gratitude to each and every one of you. You all are my teacher. The questions you ask, being here forces me to work very, very deep on myself. What's going on there? Forces me to work very deep on myself. And so thank you. God bless you. And there'll be class this evening. Pat will teach, and then tomorrow evening, and then the next class like this will be on Tuesday. Have a wonderful weekend, a wonderful day, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all soon. God bless you.
Thank you,
Thank
Stuart.
you.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you.